Where are the show notes, Pika? I can't find them. I can't find anything this week. I mean, Pika? Pika? Where is the executive producer? What's going on? Welcome back once again. It is time for the Comics Coffee Table. It's the weekly new release review. And where's Pika? Pika's still on vacation, apparently. He met a group of Pikachu down in Acapulco. They went surfing, and he's having a great time. So he sent a postcard saying, "Wish you were here." And I was like, "You little bastard! You didn't invite me in the first place." The story of my life. Aww. Being left out. Aww. Hey, everybody. It's the Comics Coffee Table. What a week, huh? I mean, we had a week off. We will be taking next week off as well. It's the summertime. I mean, seriously. It's, go out and do something if you can. I'm gonna. There is the Fan Expo Boston happening next weekend here in Boston. You know, the show is pre-recorded live before a studio audience of most of my stuffed animals. I feel so, you know, you don't miss them? No? What? More space in the fridge for your cold beer? Okay. But we'll be hitting the Fan Expo Boston next week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So you can expect to see lots of videos from the Nerd Prom. And yeah, I'm taking a break from the daily grind of making content. I'm pretty sure that the show will go back to its usual ways come the school year, when the school year starts again. I mean, it's summertime. Lots of people. And August is traditionally the slowest month on YouTube as well. I mean, it took me about a couple of years to realize that. Someone even told me, "Hey, it's August." You know, and pardon my voice, please. I got really sick on Friday, so much so I had to cancel being on Wes's Thinking Critical's Comics Aficionados on Saturday morning. I was so sick. My voice sounded a lot worse too. I mean, I was getting explosively ill from both ends. I think it was something I ate. I might have, like, you know, we had a heat wave in Boston. So, you know, just make sure all your food is properly cold or properly hot. I know, huh? It was like about 6 hours after I went to a restaurant, and it was just like everything went in reverse, sideways and inside out. But got through it, and it was terrible. I didn't even get to sleep until like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I only slept a couple of hours. And you know, wow, I feel better though. I'm a little bit run down, but thank you so much for everyone's well wishes and the get betters and everything. And but we are at the Geeky Chill Stream, where we like to hang out together and take a coffee break together and talk about comic books just for a few minutes in our busy days. And as we like to say on the show, what's in the bag? What's in the bag? Funny books. This week's funny books. And one of the strengths of the show is basically my executive producer, who's still on vacation because he's so darn cute. And you know, the positive vibes, the geeky chill stream where we can relax, unwind, geek out, and not be overburdened by the almost oppressive pervasiveness of outrage culture. You know, and I'm not knocking it. Trust me, I'm not. I like everybody. I watch these shows. they're entertaining and fun, but there's sometimes only so much I can take. And then I turn the channel and I watch Bob Ross, and I watch rain falling. And you know what I watch a lot lately? Columbo. Yes, the detective show from the 1970s. And it's been great watching this reverse whodunit show. Columbo's a really great old-fashioned show. No frills. It's formula. It sticks to its own recipe. It sticks to its own cosmology and mythos. You know, Columbo. We never find out Lieutenant Columbo's first name. We were hinted at it. His name could be Frank, because we might be able to see it when he flashes his badge. And Columbo is a reverse whodunit, where we see the murder and the murderer in the cold open. And then it's all about how he gets there, how Lieutenant Columbo gets to proof, evidence, and a charge. Again, but he's this delicious tension, simple, delicious tension that drives the show. Columbo's in the room with the murderer all show long, and you know he's not going to solve it until the end of it. But all along, you're like, just like, it's a nice pastime. I mean, and it's really fun. So yeah, I've been watching that on Amazon Prime, and but what's in the bag? New comic books. Well, yeah, new comics. A couple of them are old, very old comics. And we're going to save those to the end because those are our picks of the week. But let's get to it. Let's talk about some comic books. I spent $37.03 at my local funny book bodega, the LCS. Usually the show is about rebagging, reboarding, reboxing my entire collection. So we would go through our floppies and we look at pages, we look at art, we look at story, we look at the creators on the credits, we look at the indicia, the small print, we look at the condition, the quality, what they could be worth in the book value, and how we can better grade these comics as well. I need lots of supplies in order to do this. I need bags, I need boards, I need boxes. So I get all of my supplies at my local comic book shop. It's very important that we take our business back to the brick and mortar mom and pop shops. They're local businesses and they need our patronage. I'm not just getting my new releases there, I'm getting my supplies there too. And I am agreeing to pay the retail markup. I could be getting a price break if I bought them from my online supply chain, or even maybe go to a big box store. But no, I mean, cui bono? Who profits? I mean, we do for keeping our local comic book shops open. We do. And they need our business. And we need them. It's a symbiotic relationship. Like the Naboo and the Gungan in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And I thank you guys so very much. I'm blessed and grateful that for all of you in the chat and in the comments, these friends we've made, and this community, this fellowship, one could say. And I'm just humbled by the fact that you all show up. And I'm sorry for the intermittency of the show lately, but it's been coming. I mean, seriously, we went 564 consecutive daily episodes. I'm so proud of that. And no one can take that away from us. And, well, unless, you know, YouTube deletes our channel, which they could do, and like for any reason, for anything, at any time. If we, you know, so that's like the whole thing about being a YouTube creator is like, I mean, there's a whole watch what you say element to it, but then there is just another element of people who false flag and who don't like you simply for the sheer fact that you disagree with them about a pop culture. be it Star Wars or Star Trek or Doctor Who, Terminator, or My Little Pony at this point, you know, Barbie, you know, anything. Someone can false flag you and have your entire, all this work taken away from you, stripped away from you, just out of some fickleness or just out of dislike. It's a lot like an ex-girlfriend, you know what I mean? Like, I like him now, sorry, bye. Yeah, vindictive evil people. Aww, aww. See, Pika's gone for a week and everything gets dour around here. Wish you were here, you little bastard. You didn't invite me. Aw, I'm an only child. I'm alone all the time. I want to be invited to places. I miss people. Whatever. So, what's in the bag? New comics. What did we get? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 funny books this week. Let's get to it. My favorite of the week, basically, of the new releases, is this ongoing. I think it wraps up next issue. I would love to see more of this. Now, the first 6 issues. This is Hunt, Kill, Repeat from Mad Cave Comics. It's it's Greek mythology meets Kill Bill, and it works and it's great. And I hope it's got more legs to it. I would love to see. You could probably do another one like Greek mythology meets like the popular TV show Succession. But the art in this is decent, and it's got an inker. You know how I feel about total digital art. It just I don't think it's worth the for the most part. It's not worth the print. For the most part, in my humble opinion, digital art is not worth the paper it is printed on. And I'm beginning to have a lot of problems paying for unsatisfactory art that I'm never gonna read again, and that take up space, and I don't want to support that work either. I think it's lazy, seriously. But it's the future, you know. Is it? I mean, there are some examples of good digital art. I know, because I've seen it, and I'm not a complete Luddite, and I'm not a a malcontent. I'm just very dissatisfied with, especially, if there's one, you take away the ability of the artist to sell their work in a secondary market. That on paper line art that's inked is very valuable. It's literally art, and the very small percent of comics that hit it and that get very famous decades afterwards, that art increases in value. That is legitimately, something of value, such as like Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns art. I heard that he sold these pieces of paper for hundreds and thousands of dollars that now today are worth tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And isn't that art? Isn't that about the collectors, the collectability of it and the uniqueness of it? So you take that away from the artist. Also, you're taking a job away from an artist, the inker, a starving artist that needs work. So you're taking a piece of the puzzle away. And then with this whole thing about this huge unlimited palette of colors that we have with digital coloring, there's the over-reliance. And I am at the point where it's like, it's got to be some kind of mentality of, dare I say, a conspiracy. There's no tinfoil in this hat, no. But if you look on your TV commercials, and then if you look in the background of all your comic books, it's pink, purple, and blue. And it's derisively called bisexual lighting. But is it there to condition you subliminally to, for that reason? I'm not saying nefarious. And I hate it when, like, people in my outrage culture call it, like, perverted or just, stuff like that. I mean, like, live and let live, love and let love, but also enough all around. I mean, the push for normalization, I think, is maybe backfiring. That's the last thing I would want to see happen to my friends and loved ones that are in those communities. Just like this overreach. I mean, but yeah, this unlimited color palette that we have in digital age, and all we have are these muddled backgrounds with no kind of, like, sense of depth. Like, like there's foreground, middle ground, background. It's all smooshed and muddled, and then and it's all this pink, purple, blue color, the bisexual lighting, and it's like, oh man, when, like, eye-popping primary colors are like the bread and butter of our hobby and of this art. And I just see, like, this, it's pervasive to the point where it's like, there's the cui bono. Listen, I'm from the South Boston projects. I see the angles. I know a scam when I see one, and this is some big scam. It happens on a corporate level. These corporate people hire Ivy League business grad school people. They all drink their own Kool-Aid, and they all hire their own. And that trickles down to the editor-in-chief and the directors they give them, to the talent, to the art, and to the finished product. I mean, does this sound like a conspiracy theory? I don't think so. I think that's more of like, let's leave that for burp and burp and burp and burp. The things you can get your channel flagged for these days. But overall, Hunt, Kill, Repeat is great. I hope it goes on. I could totally see this working as a season 2, using Succession as a, because it's Greek mythology. I mean, Zeus, who is going to inherit the company? That would totally work. So, and this is Mad Cave Comics. It's, I'm so happy to support indies. But, like I said, the art is killing me here. Like, supporting this digital art, it kind of works. It has its place. It really does. But yeah, I believe this has one more issue left. And I'm hoping that it's got more than that. So yeah, Hunt, Kill, Repeat. That's my pick of the week. And it's really good. What else do we got here? From Scout Studios, Count Dante. The unauthorized but sort of true story about the deadliest man who ever lived. This is a fun comic. We got art, inks, and letters by Wes Watson, and story by J.C. Barber. So this is most definitely, like, very, digital. I do like the art here, because this is evocative of a 1970s Marvel comic, and that's on purpose. I love that because it's set in the early 70s. Count Dante is had the famous comic book advertisements of, like, learn my hands of my death touch and all this, learn kung fu, and it's a lot like a Tarantino movie in a way. But here is a great example of, like, if you I'm going to push this up there. See the texture on the animal's leg there? Those dots, okay? And we're going to see this once again in this close-up on the shirts. Can you see that? On the skin tone there, and on the shirts, that texture, that dot pattern. That's a filter. That's a digital filter, and those are kind of representing either two different things. One thing are Ben Day dots. Ben Day dots are very tiny dots that you know how big they are, how small they are. They give and how they're colored. Usually with the 4 primary printing colors: CYMK, cyan, yellow, magenta, and black, K. And it's the amount of colors you have spaced together, and that gives you the illusion when you pull away with your eyesight, with typical eyesight, of form and of color and of shadow. Ben Day dots. And also something called Zipatone. Now, Zipatone was an early 20th century rub-on thing. It was literally a transfer of these little dots and of differing sizes. But you would rub these on in a way to give you a new sense of texture and of shadow that was not hatchings and cross-hatchings, you know, made with line art. And these are pretty much visually associated with popular, like, pop art. If you could think of, like, Roy Lichtenstein's pop art of the 50s and 60s, like the whole thing with, the little circles, little dots. Well, that's a digital filter that's there just to give you a nostalgic look. You know, you can actually, and I've seen it used for effect too, that, you know, this is a flashback scene, and the best way to convey that sense of yesteryear would be to put in that Ben Day dot or Zipatone dot filter in there. But that's just a digital trick. I mean, that's why I mean, it's like yeah, it's for me, that's like a red flag almost at this point. But you know, overall, yeah. So see, this is a lampoon. So this is lampooning the ad pages in the comic book, and that's where you would find the Count Dante advertisement for Learn My Kung Fu. And so yeah, it's kind of fun. This is fun, and you know, and then there's the other part too, the onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is a word that's spelled the way it sounds. It's the sound effects in a comic, and for the most part, they're cut and pasted now. It's all digital, and all of these things, all, like, you know, this litany of things of my dissatisfaction, they're made to cut costs and make it easier on the producers to assemble a comic book. Back in the day, you would have your line art. You would have to roll the line art up, put it into a cylinder, and mail it, depending on Postal Service or UPS or FedEx, to get to your inker. The inker would have to go ahead and do that again to send it back to the office so it can be handed off to the colorist, and then to the letterer, and then to the publisher. So there is a custody trail here, and the woes and stories of art getting lost in the mail. Now or you could, you know, scan it and fax it as well. That's, you know, that's part of technology moving along. Technology now moving past the 20th century into the 21st. Now you can do everything on a digital tablet and email it as a file, and you can save paper, you can save postage, and yeah, and it seems everything's about the convenience of the producers. But what about the finished product and the satisfaction of the guest, the client, the customer? I mean, that seems to be like, oh, like, you know, well, they have to accept what we offer them, and I'm not in the mood to settle for that anymore. Well, I also got issue 5 of 6, I believe. This is a 6-issue mini. This is Usagi Yojimbo and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from IDW. Beautiful wraparound covers. Great art by Stan Sakai. Stan Sakai also does I think he does the lettering as well. Yeah, story, art, and lettering by Stan Sakai. And he's an old school master. I mean, look at that beautiful. I mean, just nothing takes me out of a comic book such as bad lettering, but just, you know, just wonderful cartoony art. I love, look, Cowabunga! Those are Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Those are my old friends. And this is this is pretty fun, and I'm very grateful for this. This has been fun. It'll be over soon. And here we go. All right, this is from Mad Cave Comics. I've been raving about this every month, all summer long, from the cover to apparently the story, and even its art. The art, the writer and the artist. I'm not knocking the art. I'm not knocking the writer. But, and I'm even like kind of, the art in here is very European, very like Mobius to me. And, but it's very digital as well. I mean, you can smell it, you can taste it, you can feel it. It's you know, there's a Kyle Baker to this art, there's a Mobius to this art, and here's our three heroes coming up into the end. We're in our end game. It's about the, you know, Earth at the end of the world, kind of. And this book ends on such a depressing down note that spoilers, no one survives. And it's not what I need in my life. I mean, it was such a depressing black pill. I regret buying this. And I mean, it was fun it was great up until the last couple of pages, where everything goes sideways and everyone dies, and there's no hope in this. There's no future. I don't regret supporting independent comics, but I do, in hindsight, regret buying this because I'm never going to read it again. At the end of it, it's just so depressing. It's so black pill. I mean, I don't need that in my life. I need some aspiration. I need uplifting. I know there's place for Twilight Zone stories with macabre endings. You know, that twist where, like, you know, just... I get it. I get it. And it's not the writer, artist, and producer's fault for giving us macabre stories. It's my fault for not being receptive to it. I get it. And it's not that, like, I just, like, don't think... I think, seriously, Mad Cave... Sorry, Mad Cave, but issue 6 of Hunt, Kill, Repeat is going to be my last comic with you guys. Not out of anything spiteful or anything. It's just more of, like, digital art. It's just the digital art thing. And it's like... I don't see myself continuing this. I'm glad I took a chance, though. But yeah, so Don't Spit in the Wind. I've been raving about it. I like the design of the covers. I like the even for digital art. I mean, it's cartoony, so and it works. But God, I was so bummed out after reading this. It took literally a couple of days to shake it off. Yeah, that's, you know, we've got Nightclub by Mark Millar, issue number 6. Now, the big part of this was Mark Millar was releasing this for $1.99. Issues 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this is a double-sized finale. So it's at the proper price of $3.99. And $4.99, I guess, will be the new median. Sorry. Oh, wow. You drink something, jerk. Oh, there we go. But it's about 3 teenagers who become vampires and use their vampire powers to become superheroes. And it's a wild ride with the usual twists and turns and delicious Mark Millar style of writing. And I'm very much, you know, very happy with it, I guess. I mean, I just, you know, just, but once again, there's my first red flag about just an artist going right to the colorist. I mean, And with such an international crew, you've got Mark Miller in Scotland, you got one on Ramirez, wherever they are. And so, yeah, I mean, just it's something about the handiwork, about the craft, and about the fineness. Now, there is good. This is an example of good digital art, sure. But, I mean, I don't know. It just severely lacks for me. I mean, I'd rather be spending my money, time, and attention on better crafted stuff. And so as this is good. I love Millar. And he's also doing his big summer event, Big Game, which is going to be fun. I picked up Incredible Hulk number 2, Legacy number 783. This is written by Philip Kennedy Johnson, art by Nick Klein. And this is great. This is okay. And like once again, we go from line art to a colorist. And I don't know. Did you? I mean, I just something about, like I said, digital art. It's and Nick Klein does his own colors for a couple of pages in a dream sequence, which is cool. But we see Hulk in a dream sequence just like right here. And we don't see Hulk again until the very last page where there's a transformation. And so this is a good example, or maybe just an example of writing for the trade. You're writing a 6-issue story to fill up a trade paperback by the end of it. Like, and it just makes me yearn for the old days, like the Bronze Age. Oh, you old people, and you're yearning for the glory days. What you would see Hulk on basically almost every page. Green skin, purple shorts, you know, looking like he leapt from the style guide. And it would be full of Hulk. Now, later issues, yeah, you know what, will be full of Hulk. And so we have an entire issue of the Hulk, which is all just set up, and it's all talking, and it's all, you know, just leading up to this point where, like, they stick a knife into Banner, and then awakens the Jade Giant. Yeah, and I mean, and then, you know, it's okay, you know. And once again, look, hey, modern ads, all house ads. It's just no video games, no snack foods, all, you know, just, yeah. Who are we aiming these comic books at? We don't know. Okay. Now, last week, I got this. I was talking to this. I mean, like, this is a foil cover. This is the facsimile edition of Hulk 181 that came out in 1974, November 1974. The first appearance, the first full appearance of Wolverine. Yes, there is his first cameo appearance is in the issue before this in Hulk 180. Sure. This is basically his first in character big thing of Wolverine. Very famous issue. And it's literally a page by page reprint of the old comic book, including the ads and everything. And I was talking to the owner of my LCS, and he pulled a couple of other of these, because the facsimile issues are a big trend these days. And he pulled a couple off the shelf, and he was like, yeah, check this out. And the first thing that I noticed was he pulled a couple of Golden Age facsimiles. Golden Age of comics runs between 1938 and 1955. We learned this last year when we showcased this very book here. So, and I went gaga over this. I was like, that's a 60-pager. Comic books, when they came out, they had a 10-cent cover price. That 10 cents today, well, let's look that up. What would 10 cents be today? Let's look up ye old CPI the CPI inflation calculator from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. So February. Let's say February, and the other one's April. So let's say March. I got two. That's in between. All right. So in March of 1940, 10 cents has the same buying power as in June of 2023 as $2.18. They were printed on newsprint, had a cover, the cover was a cover quality, and they were on spinner racks and newsstands. So yeah, I got, I was a little gaga. I was like, wow, those are 60 pagers. That's great. So I picked up these two. Yeah. This is Detective Comics number 38 from April of 1940. Cover dated of April of 1940. So it probably came out February. This is Whiz Comics number 1 from February of 1940, which that probably means December of 1939. Originally printed by Fawcett Comics, the competition to National Comics Publications, which would eventually become DC Comics, who would eventually sue Fawcett Comics for copyright infringement of their Superman character, who would win. And in their bankruptcy, Fawcett sold everything eventually all to DC Comics. So that's why Captain Marvel / Shazam is part of the DC universe. So we got, these have a $6.99 cover price. But, you know what I mean? They're not really printed on, newsprint. And, that's just and like I said, this is a 60 pager. So I took a chance because these will look great on my spinner rack. This is a nice slice of history, and they have all the advertisements. So this is the first appearance of Captain Marvel, of Shazam, showing his origin story. How creepy. Follow me, kid. Yeah. You've probably seen this before, Look at the Art Deco design of the train. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that cool? I mean, look, it's really awesome. And there we go. It's a nice, simple story. Sequential art. Primary colors. And that's it. And then we have several other tales in here. We have the first appearance, if you remember last year's show, Ibis the Invincible with his mighty Ibis stick. Yeah. He was one of the magicians of the days of stage magicians. We have Golden Arrow, which is like a Western tale. And there weren't that many advertisements in there, so not really. I mean, I thought there would be more. Spy Smasher and Scoop Smith and Lance O'Casey and Dan Dare. So yeah, and so these were packed full of stories and not a lot of advertisements. But here are the old advertisements. Kids in comics, right? But this is great too. If I gotta say, I'm a bigger Robin fan than a Batman fan, but you can't have one without the other. And this is the first appearance of Robin the Boy Wonder. See, Batman appeared, his first appearance was in Detective Comics number 27 the year before. And but yeah, like I said about the Count Dante ad, well, here, that's where you would find it in a page such as this ancient internet of catalog. And here we have the first appearance of Robin the Boy Wonder. Have you ever seen the candle scene before? Well, this is where it came from. And this is great too, because it mentions training him. So this is from 1940. And he mentions jujitsu. And I was under, which is great to mention because I thought that jujitsu was something that the U.S. armies learned by occupying post-World War II Japan and bringing it back with them. So, that's really, I find that to be, really interesting. But what I find to be even more interesting was, this, decent art. It's not the best, but this is such a crude, it was a different age. But here, okay, check it out. They're on a skyscraper, a building, and it's perilous. But what does Robin do here? That criminal is falling to their doom. Death by misadventure. And the same goes for Batman here, too. So it kind of, it's weird that it kind of gives me kind of like, it kind of gives the whole Snyderverse thing about Batman using lethal force a bit more leverage, that way back in the golden age when this started, more ads. Look at those ads. It's not that Batman used lethal force, but he didn't necessarily save henchmen and minions from their doom and their deaths by misadventure. We also have Spy comic. Dun 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 dun. See, we have the Capitol building. We've got transmissions with those lightning bolts there. That's what they're supposed to represent, not bad weather. Neighbors. We got Red Logan. The art in here is pretty good for, you know what I mean? What do you think? Let me know in the comment section. The Crimson Avenger, pretty much one of the first superheroes. It's a book review, Kidnapped by Robert Louis Stevenson, and Boys Print, or Print Boys. I don't know how to read that. But here's your own little printing press. Make your own little magazines. Ancient blogging, one could think. Speed Saunders. That's a little risky. Is that risque too? But I mean, just beautifully drawn women and problematic racial stereotyping too, as we would say today. Steve Malone, District Attorney. Well, we gotta wrap this up. Cliff Crosby. Yet all of these little, tales in here. Look, a prose tale. Money for prizes. Hey, look, a bike. Is that a bike contest? And to finish the book, we've got who started Detective Comics, the Detective Slam Bradley, who you also might know from modern Catwoman comics as well. And there's a last page here. Oh, Ancient Internet. The Big Six comic magazines. Read them every month for the best comics. Ooh, it's Ultraman, huh? And there we go. Yeah. These are the facsimiles. Those are really fun. And thank you so much for tuning in today. Yeah. So my pick of the week has to be Hunt, Kill, Repeat from Mad Cave Comics. Not looking forward to seeing it end. And, but I'm going to be getting pickier and pickier with how I spend my money. And I don't mean to be dissing anyone at Mad Cave. I'm done. I don't want to waste my time, attention, money, physical space, and on, it was just, what a downer. I mean, I don't know what I was expecting though. Well, that when you have no expectations and expect the unexpected, or I don't know. But I'm looking forward to Pikachu coming back next week. I'll be going to the Fan Expo Boston next weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Got my 3-day pass in the mail already. And looking forward to that, meeting up with the fandom fellowship friends and having a good time. I don't think I'm cosplaying this year. I just sometimes I just don't feel it. I'm not, yeah. I'm a little talked out. Sorry, I mean, just like I sounded a hell of a lot worse yesterday. And thank you so very much. And stick with the show. I will too. But we're going to be doing the same as the last week. Pika's still on vacation. And enjoy your summer, please. And stay tuned. We'll be coming back to the usual schedule pretty much in the school year, unless unless I change my mind with a format change. Who knows? It's hard to make daily content, and it's hard not to seem repetitive, and it's hard not to feel like you're hitting the wall, and it's hard not to feel like you're being boring as well. And I think what the big parts of the show, though, are the community, the sense of wonder that we all share, our love of our hobby, big smiles, and positivity, because the world's a downer place right now, and a lot of our content out there is just so outragey. And I'm not knocking them. I'm not knocking anyone. I have all their T-shirts. I mean, I live down the street from a firehouse. God bless you. Hope you be safe. And I just, we need more aspiration. We demand our heroes to be aspirational, I guess, in a way. And so maybe that starts within us too, and not just to be reactive and to ignore things that we are not satisfied with, and we shouldn't be spending our precious attention and time on. Alarming, I know, huh? Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll return in the weekend with more content, coverage from the Nerd Prom, the Fan Expo Boston. Hopefully I'm going to meet William Shatner. That's going to be my big spend. We'll be getting a picture with Captain Kirk. I'm a big Star Trek fan. I'm a huge Star Trek fan. Might ask him to sign my box set of the original series. Wouldn't that be cool? Get a photo with him. Live long and prosper. Ed Plebnista. And we, the people. And God bless. Namaste. Good luck. And we will see you again later in those funny pages. Thank you so very much. Cheers. And thank you for spending your break with us here at the Comics Coffee Table. Ciao. Bye-bye.